Welcome back. There we go. There we go. Hello, Olympia. How are you? We are here with our good friends at HeinekenRugbyClub.com to get member-only benefits such as tickets and invites and discount codes and much more. Join HeinekenRugbyClub.com. They help us get great guests as well. Now, I'm not happy about the current situation. I would think Stephen Ferris deserves a walk-in and a round of applause, and he has plonked himself on the bloody couch. Ferris, will you go round backstage for a second? Go on. Go round.
Stand up.
Come on, up. Stephen Ferris, open walk around. Around you go, around you go. All the way. Keep going. Keep going, out of sight. Right, our next guest, everyone. In fairness, I think everybody will agree he was a proper legend. British and Irish line, legend for Ulster, an unbelievable player for Ireland. Sadly, injury cut short his career, but I think he's going to feel the love. Stephen Ferris, everyone! Now that's more like it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You're very welcome. How's the form?
Yeah, all good. It's brilliant that you left the Ulster contingent to last.
Well, someone tweeted me to say there are Connacht people here too, which I completely forgot. Terrible. There's actually no excuse for that, I know. That's terrible. Someone's tweeted in, Colin, Stephen, which was more difficult, climbing Kilimanjaro or lifting Will Genia?
Oh, jeez, yeah. Mount Kilimanjaro was absolutely horrific. It was so tough. Spending 6 days or 6 nights in a tent with Mike McCarthy was pretty difficult. He's 6'7", 18.5, 19 stone, and he was pulling his trousers down every night, wiping himself with baby wipes, and I can assure you. when he turned around and asked me to wash his back, I politely declined.
Wash his what?
Yeah, wash his what, yeah. But it was good crack, but it was bloody tough, Joe.
Tough, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the toughest part?
It was the weather. Obviously, first of all, we raised a lot of money for the RFU Charitable Trust for severely injured rugby players. I think in total, Joe, there's close to €200,000, which is tremendous. There was 32 of us took part. All 32 of us made it to the top. And yeah, just the weather the first 2 or 3 days, everything got soaked, trying to get things dry. The food, sleep deprivation, sharing a tent, it's tough enough with two smaller, but me and Mike in the two-man tent was hard work. And then summit night, 12 o'clock, walking for 7.5 hours straight and getting to the summit in minus 20 degrees, blizzard-like conditions. I was Googling what I was going to see at the top, this perfect sunrise, and everybody's going to be hugging each other and crying. Like, I just couldn't wait to get down, to be honest. I got down to base camp and went to sleep for a few hours, and then it was more or less straight back down, a day and a half. So, look, extremely tough. Would I do it again? Absolutely not. But again, as I say, it was all for a great cause.
And did you suffer from altitude sickness? Does that come into play?
No, for me it didn't actually. I think it was more just the continuous walking. I'm a bit of a fast twitch, explosive power kind of athlete when I played rugby.
If you do say so yourself. Jeez. Sorry we gave you the walk on now, the ego.
Wanker. Yeah, but this endurance thing, it was completely new to me. So walking for 7-8 hours a day was tough going. But we rallied together and made it up and down in one piece, thankfully.
Okay, well, good man. Well done. So, Champions Cup quarter-final, that's what we're here to preview over the next few minutes. Leinster against Ulster, a lot of people will be very focused on. The only time they played in this competition was the final of 2012. So that
Get him out.
42 points to 14. Leinster at that stage were just really in their pomp.
Yeah.
Did you go into that game feeling you had a big chance, or did you kind of think we could be up against it against this lot?
No, of course, you go into any game thinking you've got a chance of winning, of course. We were playing reasonably well. Our big game players were standing up. We had a super performance in the quarter-final. We were seeded 8th. Munster were seeded 1. Went down to Thomond Park and put in probably the best game of the year. Pity we didn't save it for the final. We got absolutely hockeyed. You know, they scored a couple of tries late on that maybe put a few more numbers in the scoreboard. But I think in general, we were outplayed, we were out-muscled, and we lost the physicality. Our big game players didn't turn up, me included. Pedro Wannenberg, who was probably one of the best players for us, most consistent players all season, didn't have a great game. Johan Muller didn't have a great, you know, everybody that you're kind of relying on to pitch up on the big occasions didn't, and me included. And fair play to Leinster. I think that team would have given anybody a good hockey, and that day they were absolutely superb.
Yeah. Shane, I mean, 2009 we've talked about. 2011 was the amazing comeback against Northampton. That day in Twickenham almost felt like an exhibition, a real signature performance from Leinster. You were just cooking at that stage.
Yeah, no, we were in a good place, but we had a brilliant rivalry at Ulster for a number of years, whether it was in the league, and it's funny, I always thought I hated Munster, but I soon realised I hated Ulster and Connacht, and they hated us as much as we hated them. It was brilliant, genuine, because the games we had were close, and I don't mean to say this just for the sake of saying it, but genuinely we feared each other and we respected each other, and we wanted to make sure we came out on top. And it was no different with the lads in Ulster, because they had a really good group stage, went down to Thomond when nobody would have given them a chance, and they put in an unbelievable performance. And then it was Edinburgh in the semi, and I remember looking at it from a Leinster point of view, as I was very selfish, and I saw them going around with a banner, and I said, we have a chance here, lads. They're happy to get to a final. Whether it was true or not, from their point of view, I don't know. And I was like, should be celebrating after a win, not getting to a final kind of thing. And again, that was just my mentality, our mentality. And I think Stephen was right in saying that the scoreline wasn't reflective of it. We had played well, but we got a few late points that didn't justify what it was actually like. But again, we had some great games. League finals, going up to Ravenhill, they were great battles, and that was a good team. That the names he was saying there, and thankfully on that day, the likes of the names like Wannenberg and these guys didn't perform, because they were serious players, and Bestie and these kind of fellas, and Chris Henry, so they had a good squad.
Yeah. Isel Cody is tweeting to say, so essentially Shane Jennings' motivation to win at Croker was to hammer home who Leinster were and who he was to some poor lady working in the GAA museum, which is about right. That's my takeaway from the last chat as well. How do you see the weekend going? Leinster obviously massive favourites.
Yeah, they are, based on, I think, recent form and the squad that they have, but genuinely, you underestimate anybody, or you don't respect an opposition who are good and who are professionals, you'll get undone. So I think Leinster, the coaching staff, the team, the backroom staff that they have are very aware of that, and they'll have to have the players prepared the way they should be. And I think if they do that and if they perform, they probably are the form team, and they should win. But you can't underestimate, just because they think Ulster maybe aren't as high in the domestic competition, or they haven't performed as well in the Heineken Cup or the Champions Cup. It is a one-off game, and I think it's going to be an exciting game. It's great to have two Irish teams in the Aviva for the occasion, and obviously my bias is I'd like to see Leinster win.
It's Ulster's first time in the knockout stages since 2014. Nobody really expected them to get out of the pool. It was a tough pool, and they did remarkably well. There's a sense of enthusiasm about the whole place again after really tough few years. You were a big critic in those tougher few years. Are you happy enough with what you're seeing this year?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot more stability, something that I've been crying out for within Ulster. You know, just the amount of change in coaches and players, physios, S&C staff over the last 18 months. It's just been complete mayhem. The CEO's left as well. New CEO, John Petry's come in from Scotland. And I think that's now reflecting on the pitch that there's stability. Now, you touched on the tough European group. I would probably say that it wasn't that tough a group. You know, Leicester are shambolic this season, haven't been performing well. Scarlets have lost a lot of players to injury, lost a couple of guys to other clubs. Certainly aren't the team that they were last year. So, you know, looking at the pool at the start of the season, when the names get drawn out, you'd be like, geez, this is going to be tough. But as the seasons went on and the teams have played, I think it's been slightly easier for Ulster. But then again, you can only play what's in front of you week in, week out. and fair play to them. They've got themselves into a quarter-final. And to be honest, I think this is maybe the quarter-final that they wanted. You know, a big, massive game in the Aviva Stadium where they can bring a shed load of Ulster fans down and really get behind the team. Ulster aren't coming down just for a big day out in Dublin. They're not coming down to make up the numbers. They're going to come down and try and win the match. Do I think they're going to win it? I don't believe they will, but I think they'll go away with a lot more respect.
Michael, are you watching much club action up in the Northern Hemisphere?
Yeah, we get a bit. We can have a look and see. I think that being involved in 2 Heineken Cup derby matches, both with Munster, and there's something a little bit different about them because it's a knockout nature, number one, and usually the derby doesn't have a knockout nature. It's in a league format, so you're teams that know each other very well, players who know each other very well, and the knockout part of it creates a different dynamic. So I think that that knockout situation can raise a team that maybe isn't as high up in a ladder in the competition, can raise them to have that one huge effort, put pressure on, create that. I think in 2009, we weren't expected to challenge Munster in that situation, but the knockout plus the derby lifted players to play above their potential or to there or whatever it is. And I think that that's always able to be kept in the planning, the mindset that the derby match isn't like another Heineken Cup knockout match. It's something a little bit different again, and that the form won't necessarily dictate what happens.
Yeah, I guess like Thomond Park in 2012, nobody expected Ulster to win that day. That was an incredible game.
Yeah, it was a great performance. Huge performance. We turned up physically, and I think that's one thing that you got to do if you're going to be in with a shout of winning a match of great magnitude, is that you turn up physically. We certainly did that, and I think Ulster have been the same kind of team for the last 5 or 6 years. Is that if they're a front runner, they're pretty good. If they get their noses in front, they're a hard team to beat. If they go 7-10 points down, and I think they usually, you know, not that they fold, but it's a tough day at the office, and I think if Leinster get a foothold in the game very early, that it's going to be a really difficult day at the office for Ulster. But yeah, good memories of 2012. Obviously, we were playing some great rugby, and likes of Ruan Pinar, John Afoa, World Cup winners. You know, we're certainly doing the business for us. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting game on Saturday. I think the weather's due to be pretty good. Hopefully, it's an Ulster victory in Dublin, but I just can't see it.
Because it's funny, like, maybe it's just me. I mean, we're all in our own little bubble, but it hasn't felt like there's been massive hype about this weekend, Keith. It's often one of the best weekends, the quarter-final weekend. You get the Challenge Cup and the Champions Cup. Connacht are involved as well. But is it a Six Nations hangover? Are we all a bit, or maybe it's just me? I don't know if you're sharing that sense of just a little bit quiet, especially with a Leinster-Ulster game.
I think it's probably just you, Joe.
It's very helpful, thank you.
Though there is a bit of a hangover from the Six Nations, where there's so much emotion from everybody goes into it. The players are under huge pressure. There's an awful lot going on. We're looking for big performances, and we didn't get it at the end. And you know, so I think everybody's a bit deflated. Then the guys are coming back. Some of them play, some of them don't play. They're all pretty much shattered after it, and they have to get up in this week. I think you often see that there's very few guys offered up to the media this week. They just want to get out and play. They just want to get the chance to get back onto the field. And I think form is an unusual one. The match last week doesn't matter because there's an awful lot of not the same players playing. But the last time that they played properly as a first team is nearly 2 months ago, the bones off. So form is kind of unusual for this, and it comes down to the preparation that you have this week and the mental attitude that will happen. For me, you know, in Dublin, I think Leinster are the better team.
Sure.
And I do take the point of a knockout cup match. I think Will Addison getting injured is a big loss, because I think he has been an awful lot of what was good in the pool matches. But I think if Ulster turn up and play with a high level of aggression and a high level of focus and a high level of discipline, it'll be a tough game, but I still see Leinster pulling away. If Ulster don't bring that at the start, this is Leinster's opportunity to kind of set their season alight again, having had a break for a period of time, and I think it could be very tough for them.
One last question on that match. I was just looking through the stats. Jacob Stockdale has the most metres per carry of any player in the tournament. He's also the top try scorer in the tournament with 6 tries. I thought he was top. He's actually joint top. And then I saw Sean Cronin joint top with him. And I was thinking, like...
Imagine how many tries Cronin would score if he was on the wing.
I listen. Back in January, the world was Sean Cronin's oyster, wasn't it? Back in January before the Six Nations. What's your read on that, Mal and Shane? Is Sean Cronin? I presume he will go to Japan. I presume he's going to play himself back into this squad. Or would you be worried for him based on what we've seen?
I think it's an interesting one. And I'd be a big Sean Cronin fan. He reminds me a lot actually of Woody and how Woody played his game. He's a superb athlete. Personally, I think, as a Leinsterman, I think it's something that Ireland need. Be it off the bench or some of those other games that Rory that Rory won't be there for. So, and certainly going forward, I think he's an important part of Ireland going forward. I think Ireland's depth of players are too shallow not to have a player of his quality involved. I think he's worked incredibly hard at his detail, at his lineouts. For me, he's a phenomenal player, and we're very lucky to have a player like that playing for Leinster.
So what do you read into the fact that he was basically out in the cold post the Italian game?
I don't know. I wouldn't say it's because of his talent on the pitch, but there's lots of things and reasons why a player is no longer in favour, but I wouldn't be privy to that kind of thing.
Yeah. Shane, what's the word?
Pardon?
What's the word?
Yeah, it's brutal, isn't it? It's tough on the guy because he's had an incredible season with Leinster so far. The stats he hit there, and then the spotlight is on him in Italy, and the team don't perform. He doesn't perform to the best of his ability, some of which isn't his fault, some of which he has to take ownership and says, you know what, I could do better there. But personally, I think he deserves to be there. And I think he deserves to go to the World Cup. Again, we're not privy to what goes on in Carton House and behind closed doors or whatever it is, but based on form and based on the talent that he is in terms of his ball carrying skills, his impact that he can have, I think he's got a value to it. But it adds to the weekend, doesn't it? He's up against Bestie probably, Herring as well as the competition. So it's such an opportunity for him to, like you're saying, kickstart a season. What Keith said about Leinster kickstarting a season, for an individual to get the opportunity to play again and prove himself. And it's a nice place to be when you're trying to prove people wrong, because that's usually you come out with good performances. And I think he has the ability to do that.
Things kick off on Saturday morning, Edinburgh against Munster. Ronan O'Gara was on the show during the week. It's a 50-50 game according to him. This one is going to be tough for Munster.
I would say Edinburgh are probably favourites, and Munster would like that. They'd rather be playing at home, mind you. And I think some of the Munster players have come under a lot of criticism over the Six Nations, and you can see there's a bit of a tone. The bristling tone.
Peter O'Mahony said big overreaction in his press dealings yesterday to the Irish performances.
Yeah, which that's a good default setting for Munster to be bitter. It suits us quite comfortably, and if you get the opportunity to get one up on somebody, that's great and fantastic, and prove them wrong. I think in the last year, 2 years ago not so much, but last year, I think Munster learned how to eke out a good victory at quarter-final. Did really, really well last year, and didn't fire a shot properly in the semi. And I actually think that they've learned an awful lot from that. So they're now going away from home. Yeah. They have to fire a shot early. They have to get their composure, their slickness of their game going. I haven't seen the side. I don't think it's out yet. It depends on who gets back from injury, and it depends on exactly how everybody has turned up to training this week. But I do think there's a movement for Munster to do more, and actually the break for them was not a bad break at all, because they were just getting a little bit unstuck. They were winning matches, but they were running out of energy. So it's whether the guys can come back from the Six Nations full of beans and see if they can go and do it. I think in many respects they're not on a freebie as such, but they can go and play to win, because Edinburgh are a fine side. A lot of players on the up, very confident, given a sense of freedom. With a sense of freedom come mistakes, and the way Munster play, if they can pounce on the mistakes, I think they'll do well. And I think it'll be very tough, but I would still tip Munster to win that one.
Okay. Did you experience that situation from memory? You didn't, where a Leinster player was told you should move on?
To go to another province? No. We were probably back in that era. That was the first of the movements coming. We had Stephen Keogh, Trevor Hogan. Come up.
Not only one way, like.
No. Well, they saw the light, and they followed the gourd. Whatever the Monty Python one is. I think it was inevitable to have so many good players here.
I don't suspect Michael Cheika, if he was still Leinster coach, would have reacted well, though.
To what?
Michael, we think Joey Carberry should leave Leinster.
Yeah, well, are we in prime time? Like, are the kids watching at home? Or?
No.
No, okay, right. No, look, it's the way the federation is running the game is bringing success to the team. I think, like, the team's up in places, the national team's up in places where it's been there for a while. It's not like it's a fluke. They're up there, and they're high up in the world rankings, and that's because you've got great players and great coaching, and I think that the competitiveness of the teams here, but also the union's leading down a certain path, and I think it's working.
What did you make of Ireland when they were down in Australia last summer?
Yeah, well, they were pretty good, pretty competitive. It was a tough series. It hurt a lot. I know it hurt me a lot personally to lose that series, because I thought we actually played as good as we've played for a while in a couple of those games. In maybe not the second one, but in the first and the third, and it was a bounce of the ball here or there, or it was close. I
read that one of the key things you picked out was not to give them lineouts. Is that right? That you made a big effort not to do that?
No, that would just be someone making stuff up. Journalists often make that stuff up. Well, we couldn't get a grab, so I'll just make something up and put it in there. And not at all, mate. I don't think. I don't. I'm trying not to give them a line out near the 5 metres from our own line. Yes, that would be handy.
Sure.
But none of that
but
stuff.
It wasn't like a big concerted tactic or a big approach.
No,
right?
mate, no. We approached those games with good physicality, I thought, and there was a good. I think losing that series actually took a little bit out of us for the season, because I thought we played okay in that series. So. And usually from June we play at a certain level, and then we can start building up the more we're together. It didn't sort of work out that way afterwards, because it could have been different if we just won one of those second games, But I thought they were very good when they came out. They were very consistent Ireland, They'll bring exactly what you expect them to bring, and they'll bring it very regularly. And that's the hallmark. They're the hallmarks of really good teams that are consistent. So you're not going to become brilliant one day. You know what I mean? It's just becoming great is just by being good all the time, not by just all of a sudden having this whole spike in talent.
And what struck you about their performances in the Six Nations, which seemed to dip a lot?
I'm
jump
personally, I'm surprised to hear you guys talking. I haven't followed it that much, but I hear you talking about it where you say there's a dip, or these guys are getting criticised, or they've been very consistent for quite a while, So you miss out what they lose one game or two games? Two, yeah, okay.
And
so
lost the last one lost them both quite badly actually. Did you see them?
I was here for Ireland, England.
Right.
Yeah, so
Did you see Wales, Ireland?
no, not the last game. I haven't watched it yet. So
Do you don't watch rugby for enjoyment, I'm sensing, do you not? Seriously, do you, would you be, I can't wait to watch this Wales-Ireland game. That's not really...
yeah, I watch all games as a spectator first.
Okay.
Never to straight, even our own. You know, I watch them, just watch it, you know, and try and, you know, look at it, then go back and digest, because at the end of the day, that's what you want to do, is watch the games for enjoyment, and then have a look and see, you know, some of the technicalities afterwards.
So you just happened to miss that one, or
Which one?
the Wales-Ireland game?
Mate, it's on at 3 o'clock in the morning. What do you want me to do? Get up with it?
Sorry,
Well, I'm
sorry,
not trying
record it. Record it. It's not
Are these
1970.
guys like this all the time, or
He
what?
is like that all the time.
Sorry,
hang on.
sorry, hang on a second.
If
Let's
we're,
record on the VHS.
yeah.
VHS. Mel's still got a VHS at home. He's the only one.
You just record the
Well,
game.
even if we look at a point of comparative between coaches, which we would know that Joe Schmidt watches every available rugby match on the world in real time and then analyse it afterwards, you're not that person.
Well, maybe that's why he's going better than me at the moment. I don't know. Mate, at the end of the day, I really believe the team I need to watch is mine. And once I invest in those guys, make them the best they can be, have great tactics, not just tactics, have great tactics, get them fully committed, believing in something, physically ready, you know, team spirit, and like I said, have great tactics to play, then it'll be sweet. It won't matter what the opposition does. And that's sort of in the last World Cup, I didn't watch any footage of the other team.
Really?
Just, I'll let the other coaches do that. And I'm going to get a lot more if I look at our guys than if I look at the other guys, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Prediction time. Edinburgh, Munster. Keith, you're just leaning towards Munster. Mal, how do you see Edinburgh, Munster?
I think it's very hard to write off Munster, but sure, Edinburgh.
Oh, dear.
We'll have to have a wager.
Shane?
I reckon Munster will do it. I think Munster, like Stephen said about Ulster, being happy with the draw. I don't think Munster fear going to Edinburgh. They go there and they win. They've done it in the past. I think Munster are dangerous when people are not rating them, and I think they've got the team to do it. I think they'll win. Yeah.
Okay. Stephen, give me your prediction for Edinburgh, Munster, and then who's going to win the competition outright?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go against all the lads and say that Edinburgh's going to win. I just think they've got players who are in form, and Munster don't seem to have players in form. They've got world-class players, and of course they can pitch up on Saturday and put in an incredible show. But I think the likes of McAnally, Big Bill Mata, John Barkley got man of the match.
Hamish Watson,
who's running around, running through brick walls these days. I just think that they are playing with more confidence, and they're at home. There's a big crowd expected, and if there's going to be an upset, I think it's going to be this one. So I'm going to go for Edinburgh.
Right, okay. And what about the tournament on the whole?
Oh, yeah. Pains me to say it, but I can't look past Leinster. Yeah, they're just a great team, and a team that I've admired since retiring over the last 5 years. A team that I admire greatly. Well coached, well drilled, always bring physicality, which was something that was number one on my list when I played rugby. And yeah, I think they're just slightly better than everybody else when they're on form. But as Chex alluded to there, it's cup rugby, and you know, on their day, whatever team pitches up with the right mental attitude and the physicality, for me, wins. So, but I can't look past Leinster for the competition.
Okay. We are going to park that there. My thanks to all of you. We're going to give away a brilliant prize now with thanks to our friends at HeinekenRugbyClub.com. So bear with us. We'll literally be 1-2 minutes setting up the stage, and we'll get our two guests up, and we're going to have a special edition crappy quiz. It's exceptional, Michael. You're not going to want to miss it, trust me. It lives up to its billing. But for the time being, round of applause for our panel.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to A Question of Sport Heineken Rugby Club Crappy Quiz Edition. Please give it up for your friend and mine, Mr. Joe Malloy.
Welcome, everyone. It's our very special Question of Sport Heineken Rugby Club Crappy Quiz Edition. I'm going to welcome this evening's teams before we give away a brilliant prize. Our first team captain tonight, the man who revolutionised Leinster Rugby, came up with futuristic concepts for his players, such as not going to coppers 3 nights a week. His name, it sounds like our tech department sounded earlier. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Give it up for Michael Cheika. Joining Michael was a man who struck fear into his opponents at open side, and now he strikes fear into the likes of Conor O'Shea as an open side pundit. He's fierce, he's fiery. Don't you dare tell him Italy are going places. Give it up for Shane Jennings. And completing Team A, Roisin, you're very welcome. Thanks for joining us. Now, captaining the opposition team is a man who spent the last 3 weeks burning his badges that say only Irishman to win World Rugby Player of the Year. He's not angry with Johnny Sexton, not angry at all. It's Keith Wood, everyone! Joining Keith, a man who played for Ireland a record 92 times, a then record 92 times, British and Irish line, extra mustard on his pre-match meal, please. It's Malcolm O'Kelly. What a team. And joining the lads, Brendan Murphy. Hello, Brendan.
Hello.
We're going to have 3 rounds. We'll nip through them. The winner of the competition gets 2 tickets to the 2019 Heineken Champions Cup final in Newcastle. So a very nice prize. And with that in mind, because it's a pretty good prize, if you know the answer, we are all massively impressed that you do. Good on you. Just don't shout it up on stage, because we don't want to mess up the quiz in any way. So we're going to start with round 1. This is the opposition captain's round. It's tense. Michael, what's going to happen here is, and Keith as well, you're going to be asked a question about each other, and obviously if you get it right, you get a point. No conferring, it's all on you, okay? We're going to start with you. Keith Wood made his debut for Ireland in 1994. I'm going to give you multiple choice here. 1994 against which team? Was it A, Australia, B, England, or C, Japan? No conferring. Jennings, for the love of God.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you now?
Yes.
Well, I don't really know, but I'll go for B, England.
Australia.
Ah, there you go.
There you go. Okay, a chance for Keith's team to take an early lead. Question for Keith Wood on Michael Cheika. You may have heard, Keith, the team called Leinster won the Heineken Champions Cup in 2009. Can you name any of the teams who were in Leinster's pool that year, back in 08-09? Multiple choice. A, Toulouse, B, Edinburgh, C, Northampton.
Edinburgh.
Correct, Keith Wood. Well done. Very nice. So after round 1, Adrian Barry?
Very hard to stop this one up, Joe, but it is Team Wood in the lead by 1 point to 0.
Cool. Okay. Right, I need envelopes. JP, have I got the envelopes for Draw Your Man? I have. Right, Michael, I'm going to need you to come over here. This next round, round 2, 3 points on offer here per correct answer. This is called Draw Your Man. A play on, obviously, drawing your man, but we're taking it a bit literally. I'm going to give you that marker. Your team are going to be watching you, Michael. Basically, what's going to happen here is, in a moment, I'm going to give you an envelope. It's going to have 3 rugby players' names written on the envelope. We are going to give you 80 seconds. You can't write names. You can't write any letters. You have to simply draw clues relating to the name, and they shout out guesses. You're allowed to move on. If you're getting nowhere, feel free to rub out what you're doing on number 1 and go on to number 2. So you have 80 seconds. I'm going to give you 3 names. Got all that?
Yeah, no, not really, but let's just go anyway. You'll be right.
Okay. The man has jet lag. He flew into Australia. I'd say this is happening. You're not dreaming.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Ready to start with the clock? Okay, 80 seconds. There are your 3 names. Correct, that's one. Wendell Sailor, correct.
I can't write that word, that's crazy. I'm going back to this one here.
Wendell Sailor, great shout.
50 seconds left.
No, I can't do that one, sorry. Mate, have a look at it. Thank you.
Okay, we'll give you that. That's 2.
15 seconds.
No. It was
Sometimes you must go backwards
Well, I couldn't do the other one, so I'm
to
going
go
for the
forwards.
point. What can I do?
You got 2 right. That was impressive. Schalkberger.
out of 3,
Well done.
Very good.
Very good.
There you go.
Okay. So you get 3 points per correct answer on that one. So that was a very tidy 6 points. Right, Keith Wood, over you come.
Malcolm's going.
Oh, Mal's doing it. Even better. Even better.
I think they're afraid I won't know any of the names.
All right, okay. How's your drawing, Mal?
I did art in school.
Oh, dear. I literally can never predict a single thing you're about to say. Right. Are you ready to go? You know the rules? I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you seconds. You can't write any letters. You can't talk and crowd.
Of course
be
not.
quiet.
I wouldn't cheat.
No, I know that. Right, are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, JP, are you ready with the clock? 80 seconds starts now.
Story, Malcolm. Tree. Wood.
This is the other one. This is really hard. Okay, this one.
Maybe you might just have to start guessing. Yes. Ben Moon. Talk us through it, Mal. I think it's worth doing. So, top left, what do we got here?
Lamb. Pat Lamb.
Pat Lamb. It's a lot of Pat Lambie.
And that's a torn. These are torns in a rose bush.
Hang on.
Stay with the lamb.
I want to go back to Pat Lamb. Like he looks like I don't know, a blackcurrant out at the side, or.
Yeah.
But that's a tree.
It's
Mal.
about
It's
art.
a tree.
Art is a matter of interpretation. You know.
Actually, give people a good look at it there, just so they can really see.
There's Pat Lamb.
So that was lamb.
Pat Lamb. That's a torn in a torn bush.
Who is it,
Then you've
by the way?
obviously
Brad
got the
Thorne.
Oh,
Brad
Brad
Thorne.
Thorne.
Yeah. Pat Lamb, Brad Thorne, Ben Moon. The circle. That's your moon.
That's
in
the moon,
fairness.
but see, there's the stars, and that's the skyline. It's the cityscape. The cityscape. Yeah, we worked out a little bit better.
It's abstract. It's abstract. We're going to give them, the adjudicators have ruled that this is a correct answer. Moon is good enough for one correct answer, Joe, which is 3 points.
All right, okay. Hey, Malcolm O'Kelly, everyone.
Thank you.
Sorry, buddy. So where are we on scores then?
Michael Cheika's team are back from the dead. They lead Keith Wood's team by 6 points to 4.
Okay, tense. Final round, rapid fire round. This is where it's going to be decided. We will move on to the round that separates the men from the boys. The Keith Woods from the Keith Duffies. It is the ridiculously easy rapid fire round. 30 seconds. You'll get up to 9 questions. Each correct answer scores you 1 point, and total at the end of the round is added onto your total from the previous rounds, and that will decide the winner. These questions are for contestants 1 and 2 only. Oh, is that right, JP? Just for Roisin and Brendan? Okay. So Jennings and Michael, you're out of this. This is just for
Zip it. No,
Roisin. Zip
conferring.
it. What are the scores again, Adrian? Where are we?
6 points to 4. Michael Cheika's team leading.
Okay. You good to go, Roisin?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, let's go. Start the 30 seconds now, please, JP. What's the name of the venue that will host this year's Heineken Champions Cup final? Name France's head coach. How many Heineken Champions Cups have Leinster won? Who's the all-time leading point scorer in the Heineken Cup? Who just signed a new 2-year extension with Leinster? Who did Leinster beat last year's final? Who is Ireland's current Which side, I'll start so I'll finish. Which side plays their... Can you hear me? Which side plays their club rugby at the Stoop?
Harlequins.
That looked like a good round to me, correct? So, top scorer in this year's Six Nations was Owen Farrell. You were right about St. James's Park. Jacques Brunel, head coach of France. Leinster have won 4 Heineken Champions Cups. Ronan O'Gara, the leading point scorer in the competition. Joey Carberry has signed a 2-year extension. Leinster did beat Racine. Greg Feek is the current scrum coach, and Harlequins is where Harlequins play at the Stoop. So how many?
7 out of 9, Joe, which brings Team Cheika's total to 13.
What are they up to?
13.
13.
13 plays 9, plays 4 into the final round.
I might just sit down.
So Roisin's team 13, Brendan 9. See if the
4, so they need all 9 to level it.
No pressure.
13-4. Okay. So you need to get every single one right, Brendan.
That's grand.
Okay.
Are there multiple choice?
No. And I would urge you to pass, but that's no good. You actually just need to get them all right. Right, okay.
And no conferring.
You can come back, yeah, if you want to pass to one and come back, do that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. Right. Ready with the clock, JP? Who is Leinster's all-time leading point scorer? In what year did Ulster win Heineken? 97. Name Leinster's current backs coach. Which team has lost Heineken finals? How many Heineken Champions Cups have Ulster? Which country is damaged for? The questions just didn't shoot you, Brendan, I think.
No.
Hard luck. Our winner's Roisin! Well done. Very good. Who are you going to bring to Newcastle with you to watch Leinster win the Heineken Champions Cup?
To be decided.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Good. Congratulations. Super stuff. Enjoy that.
Thank you.
Should be a great trip. Brendan, we're not going to let you go totally empty-handed. We're going to put you in with a chance. We're launching a big competition, which we're pretty excited about. It's to do with Heineken. Adrian Barry has the details. They don't trust me to say this. I'll mess this up.
You will not mess it up, Joe, but we are, in the next few days, everybody launching a pretty amazing competition to send one person to Rugby World Cup 2019. We're going to whittle our numbers down. There will be 100 finalists, unlike our 2 amazing finalists tonight. There will be 100 finalists who will gather at a Dublin location on the 9th of May. And of those 100 people, Joe, one of them is going to be going to Rugby World Cup 2019 to a game. It's all expenses in, and we're going to have 100 tickets to give away, Joe, over the next intervening weeks between now and May the 9th. I have the first screen ticket in my hand tonight.
Oof.
It's Willy Wonka's golden ticket. Roisin's won an amazing prize, obviously, of guarantee going to the Heineken Cup final, and enjoyed. It'll be amazing. But Brendan, as our runner-up tonight, you're the first recipient of our 100 to 1 chance to go to the World Cup. Congrats.
Better not be a quiz. Rapid fire questions, I'm God.
Well done.
Good man. Okay, Brendan. So listen, we're pretty much done. Our thanks to HeinekenRugbyClub.com. Brilliant sponsors, make this whole evening happen. Thanks to you guys for coming out. We really appreciate it. It's just so much better having all you here. It's a lot more fun. So we don't take it for granted that you come up and pay in and come into the show. We never take that for granted. So it's great that you're all here. I think let's thank our guests one by one. Keith Wood, everyone. The artist, Malcolm O'Kelly. A shout out for Brendan, why not? Roisin stole the show. Shane Jennings, everyone. And a special thank you for a man who's flown in literally from Australia to be here. Thank you so much for being here. Michael Cheika, everyone. Thank you, Michael. And no, I have not forgotten Stephen Ferris, everyone. Okay, we're done. Thanks, everyone. Good night. Thank you.